Guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've gotten a lot of questions recently about resistors for these trucks. So why do you need resistors? So when you put LED taillights in these trucks, you can get a brake circuit issue because the computer monitors that brake circuit. So what it does is the LEDs don't provide enough resistance like the incandescent taillights used to. So what you need to do is you have to install these resistors to fool the transmission and computer into making them work correctly. So you can have it so your torque converter doesn't lock up, and that's due to the taillights. You can also have an issue where your cruise control will not work. You can also run into issues with hyperflash if you ran LED taillights and also LED turn signals up front, such as switchbacks. So I'm going to cover the basics on all those, how to install the resistors, where you should install these resistors, and if you even need them. So follow along and I'll show you the tools we need, and we'll start on the short bed truck over here on the other side of the shop. Since it's pretty much torn apart, it'll be a lot easier to show you. The tools you're going to need for the resistor install to get into the column is a T20 Torx number 2 Phillips. This is a 6-inch crescent wrench or a 5mm open-ended wrench and a pick. So that is all you're going to need to get into the steering column to find the wires for the resistors. So let's go check that out. All right, here we are over here at the short bed truck. There is a tilt lock mechanism here. This is for your tilt steering wheel. So you can go ahead and unscrew this. Most of the time these are very difficult to get out. I pre-loosened this one with a wrench. So you can either use a small crescent wrench like this, or this detent on here is about a 5mm wrench, but usually they kind of flex before they give. So I try to not use those. And then there are 3 Phillips screws, one here, there's one here, and one here. And if your column has been removed before, some people don't put the one in on the back side here, which is obviously missing on this one. So I have these screws taken out, so I will go ahead and finish taking this one out here. So now that that's off, you can see the whole bottom of the column here, and you have to remove the ignition. So to do that, you will turn the key on. If you'll look, there's a small little button right here. You see it moves there. See it goes in? At that point, you can pull this ignition switch out. So once you get that starting to come out there, they catch on the plastic sometimes. You gotta wiggle it around the plastic and it comes right out. Okay? So you set that off to the side and you can pull this top column cover off. There. So now what we're basically going for is this turn signal switch, multi-function switch, whatever you'd like to call it. So there are 2 screws up here. They are Torx. So there's one here and one down here. Okay, so basically what we're going for is these wiring harnesses. I will show you which wires to splice into to hook up your turn signal resistors. So let me go ahead and get this taken off for you. All right, guys, so I got these screws out here. They are a T20 Torx. So let's pull this out. So you see this orange with light blue wire here? That is your right rear turn signal. And then your white with this light blue, that is your right front turn signal. Then you have this light green with white right here. That is your left front. And then you have this light green with orange, and that is your left rear. So if you are running LED lights front and rear, so turn signals being full LED front and rear, you need to put a resistor on left side and right side. So you need to pick one pair of these. So right rear and then left rear, or left front, right front. This would help you with your hyper flash, and even then you can get a strange flash. It's not a digital or an LED specific relay, but this one, which is a Triton, it works really well for everything I've done, and that helps with the speed of the flash and the consistency of the flash. But you need those resistors here for the hyper flash. And then for your cruise control to be completely effective, you have this light green wire right here. That is your brake circuit. So you have 5 wires up here that do different things. So you can catch this green wire down here on the brake on off switch also if you didn't want to tie in up here. So I usually would tie into the turn signals up here and then the brake circuit down here, and I will show you that here in a second. So down here is the brake on off switch. So the way this works is you have power to this constantly, and then as you press the brake pedal, it pushes on the switch and powers up the wires to the brake circuit. So if you decide to put your resistor down here, then you need to tie into the brake side of this circuit. So that would be the light green wire, not the light green with the red tracer, because you don't want to have that resistor hot at all times. So what you do is you want to put your resistors down here anyway, because they get hot. So as you can see, I have this one put right here. And you can actually fit 3 resistors here. And I have put 3 resistors here for trucks that are LED front and rear, and there is room for them there, and I do end up grounding them wherever you see fit. So you can use that stud there, you can use a column stud if you want. I ran that one up into the body a little bit farther, as you can see. So those you want to do their own ground. You never want to tie into your existing ground wires. You want to do a chassis ground directly for that, and keep in mind that that resistor can get warm. So, but it's only warm when it's being powered. So that's why you always want to do the non-constant power side for these resistors. And I can show you a link to where I get these, because these have been pretty reliable for me. So I'll put that in the descriptions there. The best place for those resistors is in the truck, and I showed you the wire colors and what they do, and that is how to tie into the circuit. So one other thing I want to cover here is the third brake lights. If you have a cabin chassis like this F Super Duty behind me, LED taillights do not seem to affect these trucks. I haven't figured out why yet. So this truck is full LED in the back. My father has a 96 F Super Duty that is full LED in the back, and we have no issues with the cruise control in either truck or the automatic transmission that's in this one. So that is something else to keep in mind with the LEDs. So for some reason the cabin chassis are different. I don't know if it's in the computer. So that's something else that you can keep in mind, is if you have a cabin chassis truck and you run LED taillights, you may also not need a resistor. So I'm standing behind my silver truck here, and something to keep in mind is if you have a third brake light truck and it has an LED light in the third brake light, there's a very good possibility that you're going to need a resistor in your brake light circuit. So I had a truck that was LED only on taillights and not in the third brake light, and I had no issues with the cruise control or the automatic transmission that was in it. However, it all depends on what you buy and where you put it. So if you are just running LED taillights and not in the third brake light, you may not need a resistor. If you are running an LED third brake light and incandescent taillights, you may not need a resistor. If you're running all 3 in LED, you are very likely to need a resistor. So my advice on this is to buy what you want to buy, install it, and then do a test drive. If your transmission decides to not lock up the torque converter, then you need a resistor in the brake circuit. If you are driving a ZF or an automatic and your cruise control is not functioning correctly, you need a resistor in the brake circuit. So I have found where these trucks are very finicky, and I have also found where these trucks are very resilient. So it's all up to what you want to buy and what you want to install. So do some testing and figure out if that's what you need. So install what you need to install or what you want to install, and then go for a drive and see what you need to install for resistors. So if you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel for more OBS content. I plan on doing some more videos about some projects I have coming up. and also maybe some tools that you may want to invest in if you own one of these older trucks that are very valuable to your own maintenance. So thanks for watching.